I have 3 pages of notes here, and I will probably be referring to them because I did stand-up comedy for 8 years, but I'm not going to be funny tonight. I'm going to tell the truth about what's going on. I'm 70 years old, but when I was 27 years old, yeah, right, I keep going, right? I'll be 71 next month. It's just a true privilege for me to be among all of you who are esteemed leaders. We come from all different walks of life, but I have to share the pivotal moment in my life that changed everything, which hopefully will be inspirational to you, regardless of what you do, where you come from, how you're getting there, and what you want to do in the future. And there is always a future, even though it's sometimes dim and the lights go down. But our challenges make us rise, and we can't really do much but go through all of it. It's through platforms like this with the Forttuna Global Excellence Awards and alongside leaders like yourself in all of your own industries and professions that we're inspired to become more of who we are, what our true human potential really is. You know, life's a journey. It's a journey. It's not a chapter. People think, oh, well, I get there, now what? No, you keep going. There's always another chapter, another point in time. And the different stages of our lives represent different parts of who we are and how we get there. But what happened to me, the narrative, briefly, I got a bachelor's in health education, a master's in public health epidemiology by 1977 when I was 23 years old. 4 years later, I was in a commercial airline plane crash. And it changed my whole life. It was a near-death experience. This is long before the internet. I couldn't Google it. And I was out of my body for 4 months, but I had become different. I was a psychic. I was spiritual. I couldn't understand my path. I couldn't go back to the world I was living in healthcare. But I had to go deep within myself. I had to find something out there as to why was I in this accident? Where was I supposed to go? What were my roots? What was my purpose? Why? And we ask that even if you're not in a traumatic situation, but just think about, you're always questioning, but this is like magnified. It took me 6 years to overcome that, the worst of it. But the crash, in retrospect, 43 years later, was like a spiritual initiation. It opened me up to a level of insight and God and balance and harmony and people and faith and courage in a way I never thought. But I did think, well, I have these degrees. What am I supposed to do now? Well, the definition of health is the state of mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being and not merely the absence of disease. No one ever talks about spiritual health. We do now. There wasn't so much back in the 80s. So now I start embarking on faith. I started testing waters. I built a new business from scratch. I had nothing, and I started over. And at any age, it's hard to start over because you think, oh God, again. But miracles started happening because I developed faith. I want to say an hour before the plane crashed, I had a premonition it was going to happen, but I didn't understand premonitions back then. I was sitting in the airport with my partner on a company event, and I said to him, I said, doesn't the plane look like it's going to crack there? And he looked at me like I was cracked. I was nuts. He said, no. But an hour later, when we were coming in for a landing, it's in Southern California, as we crash landed to avoid collision with another plane taking off on the same runway, the engine was stripped, the landing gear was stripped, an engine fell off, and the plane had cracked in half exactly where I had the vision. That led me into a whole new world of life because I became a psychic and a visionary. Scared, criticized, ridiculed, misunderstood, lost a lot of friends along the way, but I didn't care after a while because the passion and the drive led me to my new career. It led me into radio. I got into radio after doing a TV show with the famous Dionne Warwick. I did a show with her in 1992, which led me into radio, and I was selected out of over 300 people to do what was called the nighttime drive. If you know radio, everything's timed, and I started in 1994 for 6 months, and at the end of that phase, The program director said, "You're so good, go do your own shows." They taught me radio. I'm an epidemiologist. I don't know anything about programming or radio or timing or clocks and whatever, but I built a career. I ended up on the air and people started calling for advice, and next thing I know, I had a private practice, and from the private practice, I got into radio for 18 years. I produced and hosted my own show, and along the way, I developed a spiritual product to help people enhance their lives on various levels, which I still do today. Which leads me to this whole journey of awakening and transformation. I didn't know what I was doing. I just showed up. Insecure. I'm still insecure. I was insecure getting this little award tonight. It's not a little award, excuse me. It's a big award. But, it's showing up. It's being passionate. It's trusting who you are, what you have, regardless of who says no. You can't. Don't. All the adversity, I did it anyway. In a nutshell, the plane crash was one of the first out of 3 near-death experiences. The 80s were a little bumpy. While my friends were becoming yuppies, I was becoming psychic and spiritual. And I was hit by a fire truck, total car, the white light experience. But it just all emphasized that there's a journey to work through. I had to dig and cry and hibernate and isolate. And then all of a sudden, it's like, there's a purpose for all this. It's like, what do you want me to do? Radio opened up, TV opened up, publishing opened up, teaching opened up. Because I let go. I just let it happen, and I didn't give up. As many times as I've been criticized, as many times as I've had hurdles, as many times as I financed a project on TV that didn't work, as many times as I've been praised, you show up. I don't know how else to tell people that are questioning their path, or will this happen, or will I get the investor, or will I make it to the top, or am I going to be, rich and famous, or whatever the dream might be for your mom, your dad, your sisters, your husbands, whatever. You just show up. Today, I'm a 70-year-old serial entrepreneur. I have my own business, my own practice. I've been on TV, I've been on radio, I'm published. I have clients that have put me in their book because of the work I've done for them that qualified and they testified. And I'm a spiritual expert. I'm a business advisor. And I'm always eager to share the story because none of this would have happened had I not learned faith. Not religion. It's not about religion. It's not about that. It's something inside that when you develop it, your work, your relationships, yourself is going to find harmony and peace. And when we find harmony and peace, it starts to work, whatever it is. I've made numerous appearances, like I said, on TV. I've been a regular for George Noory. You may know his show, one of the largest spiritual shows in the world. But one of my proudest accomplishments has been developing the product line and hearing people say, "Thank you. Wow, you helped me, you touched me, you changed my life, you changed my family, you did this, you did that." So through all of the helping, as you know, when we give in business, if you're an educator, if you've got a product, if they love your clothing, if they love, something you're saying, when we get that thank you, that's the gratification I live for. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. I would have done something else. I'm going to close with some of the points that I have found in business. I do not have an MBA. I have an MPH, which in turn is kind of like the business degree but the public health industry, but I ended up leaving public health, got into spiritual health, got a Ph.D. in metaphysics to qualify and quantify the science with the woo-woo, and I learned in business, 1, embrace your change and uncertainty. Transitioning from public health to the media taught me that embracing the unknown can unlock new avenues for growth in business, adaptability, and openness to challenges, which are very essential. Balance, logic with intuition. We've all got intuition, not to be psychic, but everybody's intuitive. And I've learned to blend the science with my spiritual, especially when it comes to decision making. There's a formula that I've developed that I've learned to use because I found that the balance is really crucial for navigating the complex challenges in business. Business is not the fun part all the time. You address the whole person. That's the holistic end of life, the mind, body, spirit. The philosophical ends that revolve around the emotions, the physical and spiritual needs. So we have to understand our customers and how multifaceted everybody is, and develop the loyalty and the connection. And that's where I have become more successful, because I have developed relationships in, well, now I'm in Dubai, in business, radio, media, publishing, holistic health. I am a clinician. I work with doctors. I work with chiropractors. They send me people. I help people. It's relationships. Life is about a relationship, regardless of what the business is. If it's the government, if it's with a microphone, if it's with a child, if it's with somebody needy, it doesn't matter. It's our relationships. One of the hardest things I had to come up and learn was to be persistent in the face of skepticism. Okay? I lost a lot of friends along the way. You're a psychic, you're spiritual, it's like, yeah, I am. And I don't hide it anymore. There was a time I was afraid of it, I was embarrassed by it, whatever. And I was criticized. And I was shut out from a couple of social situations I had, boyfriends included, because nobody understood. But I kept going, and now I've got a whole world that understands me. In my world, it may not be yours, but in your own world, you're going to face skepticism and criticism. You can't not. But it's the drive within ourselves that keep us going, even when someone says, no, what are you doing? Some people are jealous. They don't want to see you succeed. They may think you know something they want a part of. Let your own inner potential speak. Empower your employees. I try to encourage mine to do more. Not always do they want to. Some don't have the sense, the creativity, the innovation, or the drive. They do their little job and they leave, and others want more. But be that type of employer in your business that embraces them, encourages them to help you become better in your situation. And you'll find that the tools for growth ensure that mutual success that you're looking for to create a lasting impact. You know, these are just the lessons I've learned. They're the trials and errors I've gone through. There's authenticity, there's flexibility, there's commitment to the holistic value in creation, innovation. Whether I'm writing a story or I'm writing a goal list for the next whatever. You know, as I reflect on my journey, I am filled with gratitude. The challenges I have faced only strengthen my resolve, just as they will yours. The work I do today, as I said, is the most fulfilling part of my life. My mission is clear: to help people grow and realize their own true potential. And because I didn't give up and I didn't listen to everybody and I followed whatever this universal energy, for lack of better words I can use at the moment, sometimes I call it a butterfly, you know, it's always guiding us. And my suggestion to you is listen and take advantage of it. Thank you for letting me be here and share.